Have you ever been made to feel like a stranger in your own neighborhood just because of your skin color? If you've faced or seen this kind of racial profiling that unfolds daily across America, share your story below. The sun was dipping behind the pristine hedges of Crestwood Pines when I witnessed something that shook our community to its core, reshaping how we live together. Jamal Carter, a 15-year-old with a warm smile and a promising future, was walking home from his study group at the local library. His backpack hung over one shoulder, hoodie up against the evening chill, earbuds pulsing with music, a typical teenager heading home after prepping for his AP exams. Jamal was the kid every parent admired: straight A student, junior varsity soccer player, weekend volunteer at the animal rescue. But to Linda Prescott, our homeowners association president, Jamal wasn't a resident. He was a threat, a problem to be dealt with before our gated enclave's safety was at risk. I was on my front porch, coffee in hand, when I saw Linda's silver BMW creep alongside Jamal. She lowered her window, her sleek blonde bob glinting in the sunset. From my spot, I couldn't hear her words, but her pointing finger and stern posture screamed unwarranted authority. Jamal stopped, pulled out his earbuds, and stood still, his shoulders tensing. Even from a distance, I saw his shift from carefree teen to cautious young black man, a survival skill number 15-year-old should need. Linda's BMW was a familiar sight, prowling Crestwood to catch minor HOA violations. Grass too tall, Christmas lights up too long. She'd slap notices on doors with relish. But this was different. She'd never stopped someone like this. "Excuse me, young man." Her voice carried as she stepped out, clutching her designer purse like she was in a war zone, not our quiet suburb. "Do you have a reason to be here?" Jamal's reply was soft, but I saw him point toward the new homes past the community park. "I'm going to need more than that," Linda said, louder, as if volume equaled power. "This is a private community. I know everyone here, and I don't recognize you." I set my mug down and started toward them. As a nurse at Valley Hospital, I'd learned to trust my gut when things felt off, and this was wrong. By the time I got close, Linda was waving her phone like a weapon. "I live here," Jamal said, his voice steady but strained. "My family moved to 1428 Elm Lane 3 months ago, the gray house with the soccer net." Linda's denial was swift, dripping with condescension. "No, you don't. I know everyone on Elm Lane." She raised her phone. "Leave now, or I'm calling security." Jamal, calm but firm, said, "Ma'am, I'm just going home. You can follow me to check." "This isn't a debate," Linda snapped. "I'm calling 911. Jamal pulled out his phone, smartly activating the camera. "I'm recording this," he said, then dialed, voice steady. "Dad, can you come home? A lady stopping me, saying I don't live here. She's calling the police." Linda laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. "Call whoever you want. I'm reporting a suspicious person on private property." I couldn't stay quiet. "Linda," I called, striding over, "what's going on?" She turned, relief flickering across her face, assuming I'd back her up. "Claire, thank goodness. This young man's trespassing and won't leave. He claims he lives here, can you believe it?" Jamal repeated. "I live on Elm Lane with my parents. We moved in 3 months ago." Linda raised her eyebrows at me, theatrical. "Have you seen him before?" I hadn't toured 200 home community was big, and my night shifts left me out of sync with neighbors, but that wasn't the point. "Does it matter, Linda? He gave you his address. Why not check?" She cut me off, already dialing. "I'm calling the police. We can't be too careful." Jamal's phone was on speaker, his comm fraying. "Dad, I'm on Crestwood Drive by the park." She's calling 911. "I'm recording, haven't moved." Hands visible, voice calm. The rehearsed precision of his words, "Stay calm, hands seen, record everything," broke my heart, revealing a reality black families navigate daily. Neighbors emerged, drawn by the scene. Mrs. Lou, gardening gloves on. The Garcias, dinner paused, even old Mr. Feldman with his dachshund. Linda, phone to ear, played to the crowd. "Yes, I'm reporting a suspicious person in Crestwood Pines," she said loudly. "Young black male, hoodie, refusing to leave. Not armed, but confrontational." I stepped closer to Jamal. "Linda, this is absurd. You can't stop people because you don't know them." "I'm the HOA president," she hissed, covering her phone. "I keep this community safe. We've had break-ins. From kids walking home." I shot back. Jamal stood still, recording, his eyes a mix of fear and resolve. 10 tense minutes later, a police cruiser arrived, followed by a supervisor's vehicle. Out stepped a tall man with Jamal's warm brown skin, his captain's insignia gleaming. Captain David Carter, Jamal's father. "Jamal," he called, voice commanding attention. "You okay, son?" Linda's jaw dropped, her face paling as if she might faint. "Dad," Jamal said, relief in his voice. "I was just walking home from study group." Captain Carter placed a hand on Jamal's shoulder, then faced Linda, his tone neutral but steely. "Ma'am, you called the police on a suspicious person?" Linda stammered, "A misunderstanding. We have protocols. I'm the HOA president." "I'm Captain David Carter," he said, badge flashing. "You've met my son, Jamal. We live at 1428 Elm Lane, Gray House, Soccer Net, 3 months now." The patrol officer, recognizing Captain Carter, nodded. "Didn't know this was your home, sir." "It is," Carter said. "My son was walking from the library when you stopped him, questioned him, and called 911, despite his explanation." Jamal added, "I recorded it all, Dad, from when she stopped me." Linda's voice rose, shaky. "As president, I ensure only residents are here. I've never seen him. He couldn't identify himself." "Couldn't identify?" I cut in. "He gave his address, offered to show you his home. What more did he need?" Linda glared. "Claire, this is HOA business. It's profiling," I said. "As a resident, I'm calling it out." Captain Carter nodded at me. "My son explained himself, yet you didn't believe him. What made him suspicious?" Silence fell, heavy and telling. Linda fumbled. "I didn't recognize him. Break-ins nearby, Mr. Feldman called out. No break-ins here in over a year." "In other areas," she amended weakly. "He wore a hoodie." "A hoodie?" Carter repeated, eyebrow raised. "In 60-degree weather? Reasonable." The crowd murmured agreement. "So what made him suspicious?" Carter pressed. Linda's mouth opened. No words came. Mrs. Garcia spoke up. "It's because he's black." The truth hung, undeniable. The Garcias stepped forward. "She questioned our daughter last month, asked if she was a maid when she got our mail." Mrs. Lou added. "She trailed my cousin, called him suspicious." More stories poured out. The Kapoors cited for cooking smells, black guests ID'd at the pool. Linda's role as self-appointed gatekeeper, targeting people of color, was laid bare. "I think we need an emergency HOA meeting," a voice called. "Agreed," others echoed. Linda snapped. "I set the agenda." "This isn't an emergency." Harold Brooks, the treasurer, stepped up. "Bylaws allow emergency meetings with 20% homeowner support. We've got that here." Linda's confidence cracked, fear flickering in her eyes. Captain Carter spoke. "You profiled my son for his race, refused his explanation, and called 911 for walking home. That's not protection, it's harassment." Officer Davis, taking notes, asked, "Captain, want to file a complaint? Could be a false report or hate incident." Jamal interjected. "Dad, can I speak?" Carter nodded. Jamal faced Linda, steady and clear. "Mrs. Prescott, you thought you were protecting this community, but it's my home too. My parents worry about me in ways white kids' parents don't. My dad, a police captain, taught me how to handle being stopped like this. I stayed calm, recorded, called him, because we've practiced this. I did nothing wrong except exist where you didn't think I belonged." He looked at the crowd. "I don't want you to lose your role or get in trouble. I want everyone to think before assuming someone doesn't belong. Next time, it might not be a captain's son. What happens to them?" His words silenced the crowd, many in tears. "I want a community where no one proves they belong." "Don't you?" Captain Carter, pride in his eyes, said, "My son's clear. Instead of a complaint, I want this community to fix this at an HOA meeting, ensuring no one else faces this." Linda nodded, defeated. Neighbors approached Jamal and Carter, offering support, apologies. I introduced myself, Claire, a nurse down the street. "I'm sorry this happened," I said. "Thank you for speaking up," Carter replied. "Silence is too common." "I wish I'd done more," I admitted. Jamal, wise beyond his years, said, "You did something. That matters." 3 days later, the community center overflowed for the emergency HOA meeting, chairs packed tight. Harold opened, agenda clear, address profiling and review leadership. Captain Carter, speaking as a resident, shared profiling's toll, and proposed inclusivity steps. No child should need a strategy to walk home, he said, voice heavy. Jamal recounted his experience, urging unity, not punishment. I want everyone to feel safe here, he said, glancing at Linda, who sat silently in back. The Kapoors, Garcias, and others shared their stories, exposing Linda's bias. The vote was nearly unanimous. Linda was removed as president, a diverse board elected. Captain Carter became security consultant, pushing a welcoming committee and events to connect neighbors. Security isn't keeping threats out, he said. It's ensuring everyone belongs. The meeting's climax came when Linda approached Jamal and Carter. The room hushed. I owe you an apology, she said, voice shaky but resolute. I've reflected and see I was wrong, not just with you, but others. I never thought I was racist. I have black friends. Voted for Obama, but my actions hurt people. Jamal, your grace humbles me. I can't undo it, but I'll do better. Jamal nodded, accepting with quiet dignity. We all have work to do, Carter said, shaking her hand. You're starting now. 6 months on, Crestwood Pines is transformed. We host cookouts, welcome new families with baskets, and kids of all races play at the park where Jamal was stopped. The HOA, led by Harold and diverse voices, scrapped rigid rules. No pool ID checks. Noise issues handled neighbor to neighbor. Cultural holidays celebrated. Linda's changed. She volunteers with a Carter-led outreach connecting police and residents. Even helped Jamal's soccer team at a fundraiser. They're not friends, but there's respect. Jamal's off to Stanford next year on a full scholarship, our neighborhood throwing him a party. Linda brought cookies. Carter's speech moved us to tears. For one afternoon, we were a true community, not just houses behind gates. Sitting on my porch now, I think about that evening. If I'd stayed quiet, if Carter hadn't come, if Jamal wasn't so composed. Not every profiled kid has a captain dad or a community that listens, but ours did. We're not perfect, but we're trying. That's something. If you believe in justice and accountability, like and subscribe to HOA Reckoning for stories of injustice sparking change. Your voice matters.